Now at 7, Portland police investigating a downtown shooting that left one person dead. And
then when my daughter woke up and she called 911, she said she heard a lady screaming.
In Vancouver, 3 officers have been put on leave after they shot and killed a man they say came at them with a gun. Now, a neighbor describes the moments before he called police for help. Plus, with a new year comes new laws. We'll have a look at some of the laws coming to Oregon and Washington. Sunrise streaming live at 7 starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green. Rod Hill is here to tell me why it is so cold this morning.
Because we are dry and we have breaks in the cloud cover. And it's just that time of the year. On the one hand, yeah, it's great to be dry, especially after such a wet month, but that does lead often to cold starts. We have some frosty spots out there this morning. The overall air mass is not really cold. In fact, freezing levels, you look at Timberline, will go all the way up to 8,000 feet today. So if you're going up to the high country, it will be a warming afternoon. Pretty much a blue sky over the summit, really pretty shot, 28 degrees at Timberline. Here are the broken clouds looking at the mountain from our Wells Fargo camera. We're still a ways from sunrise, of course, but pretty early morning colors, 35 degrees. And the first camera that's showing some fog as temperatures continue to drop. This is the springs at the waterfront. Right here is the interstate bridge, and you cannot see it. So we do have fog now in that area. And there's the cold temperature, frosty conditions, 32 degrees. So frosty spots around. The airport currently 35. Will be 43 at noon. We'll get up into the mid 40s. Light winds today, except for gusty east winds to about 30 out near the Columbia River Gorge. Good morning, Gresham. Good morning, Troutdale. Good morning, Camas. Of course, that's you. Back to you, China.
Thank you, Rod. Portland police are investigating a shooting that killed one man and injured another. This happened at around 11:45 last night on Southwest Ankeny Street in downtown Portland. Police say they found 2 victims. One was dead at the scene. The other was taken to the hospital. Investigators have not made any arrests yet, but are asking anyone with information to contact Portland police. Investigations are underway after 2 Vancouver police officers shot and killed a man Saturday night after a disturbance call. Police say officers responded to reports of a man outside a home on Northeast 46th Street pointing a gun at a woman inside. When officers arrived, they say the man with the gun confronted them, leading 2 officers to fire their weapons. Hitting the man, he was taken to the hospital nearby, where he was pronounced dead. We spoke to his neighbor.
At first I thought maybe it was fireworks because it's getting close to the New Year's. And but then when my daughter woke up and she called 911 and she said she heard a lady screaming. Pretty shocking for this neighborhood. It's not, I've never really seen anything like this before here.
The 2 officers who fired their weapon and a third who witnessed the shooting have been placed on critical incident leave, which is standard protocol. A homicide investigation is ongoing after a person was found dead in a car outside a Hillsborough home. Officers were called around 2:45 Saturday afternoon to report of a disturbance with a weapon near Southeast 18th Avenue off TV Highway. That's where they found the body of a person in a car. Nearly 2 hours later, police arrested the suspect during a traffic stop nearby. Hillsborough police are asking for witnesses to reach out. One person is without a home this morning after a fire broke out at an apartment in Vancouver. Fire crews responded at around 11 o'clock last night to Alder Creek Apartments on Northwest 49th Street. They say they arrived to find smoke coming from the building and located the fire on the 2nd floor. The fire was put out before it spread to other apartments. While no one was injured, 2 dogs died from that fire. The American Red Cross was contacted to assist the displaced resident. Over in Sweet Home, Oregon, fire crews responded to a house fire on Old Hufford Road after a family member living across the ridge spotted the flames and called 911. This happened around 4:22 Saturday morning. Fire officials say because of the rural location, they had limited water supply and had to ask neighboring agencies for help, shuttling in about 45,000 gallons of water. It took crews over 8 hours to put out the fire. No one was hurt in the fire, but the homeowner lost the house, 3 cars, and a tractor. The cause remains under investigation. Meantime, one person was taken to a burn center with serious injuries after a motorhome caught fire Saturday afternoon near Forest Grove. Firefighters were called just after 3 o'clock to Southwest Dudney and Bantam Avenue. They found the RV on fire and spreading to a trailer and garage. After putting out the fire, crews found a dog that had died inside the RV. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Days after a Christmas Day fire damaged Reformation Covenant Church in Oregon City, parishioners gathered at Trinity Lutheran Church. No one was hurt, but the fire caused major roof and interior damage. The pastor said holding service at Trinity felt like home.
You know, we had several churches in Oregon City reaching out almost immediately, even on Christmas Day. So we've been overwhelmed with gratitude from our brothers and sisters in the area. And it just so happened that the same church that we bought our building from, 25 years ago was one of the first ones to reach out.
And the cause of the fire is still in investigation. The new year will bring several new laws to Oregon and Washington, impacting things from federal benefits to personal privacy. To find a comprehensive list, visit our website at kgw.com. But in the meantime, John Adams runs through some of the more notable changes.
Let's start with House Bill 3522. It allows property owners to get rid of squatters easier through a new type of eviction lawsuit. Landlords can now use the forcible entry and detainer process, which gets law enforcement involved. Previously, it took a lease violation to be able to use this type of lawsuit. Next is Senate Bill 605, which will impact your credit report. It blocks healthcare providers from telling consumer reporting agencies that you owe money for your care or how much. That means medical debt will no longer show up on your credit report. House Bill 2299 targets the non-consensual sharing of private photos. It will now include deepfake images created by artificial intelligence. Repeated violations can elevate the crime to a felony. Last one for Oregon, House Bill 3167, which requires ticket sellers like Ticketmaster to disclose all fees up front. It also makes illegal speculative ticketing, where third-party sellers list tickets they don't actually own. Now to Washington. One of the biggest shifts involves impaired driving. A new law extends the DUI look-back period from 10 to 15 years, making it easier for repeat offenders to face felony charges and tougher penalties. Another major change affects families receiving child support. Starting next year, the state will pass along all child support payments to families on the Federal Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, instead of keeping a portion. And for workers, expanded protections are coming for victims of hate crimes, guaranteeing access to leave and safety accommodations. John Adams, KGW News.
And when Washington legislators return to Olympia next month, there will be a renewed push to lower the state's legal limit to determine when a driver is considered drunk. So for the past several sessions, legislators have pushed to lower the state's blood alcohol content threshold from 0.08 to 0.05. The state says new research suggests the public is warming up to that idea. And Josh Jackman, who was hit head-on by a drunk driver back in 2007, is sharing his story in support of the proposal. The crash killed the other driver, and Jackman has been in a wheelchair ever since.
If I can summon a private car to bring me a burrito in today's society, I can also get myself from a bar or a friend's house or a restaurant via a car to get home safe.
Washington breweries and wineries and the Hospitality Association saying that they oppose the change. They said it will scare people from wanting to go out. Other legislators argue the state should focus on tougher laws for repeat offenders. Your time now is 7:08. We are taking a live look at the Chehalem sky cam right now. The sun is inching its way up on this Monday morning. It looks like a watercolor painting.
Yeah. It does. I agree.
Pretty.
Beautiful.
I couldn't make that, but it looks pretty.
Really pretty out there. We are completely dry across the area. So if you're traveling up to Seattle, it's all dry out through the gorge, down toward California. No weather-related issues. A little bit of ice and snowpack is showing up on the Highway 26 camera up at Government Camp. Other than that, I think we're in great shape. And the clouds are broken. So generally, partly cloudy skies or some breaks in the cloud cover, which is what you're seeing here. Here's that watercolor look again from the Chehalem tasting room camera. 39 degrees is the temperature. We finally have some fog. This is along the Columbia River. You cannot see the interstate bridge, so the fog is thick here. You can barely see some of the buildings from the springs at the waterfront. It's 32 degrees Temperatures elsewhere 30 in Hillsborough, 31 Forest Grove. So again, there are frosty spots around. It's 37 though in Oregon City, and also above freezing up in Sandy this morning, 36. There's Estacada freezing, Salem 35, and Albany's right there at 33. All right, this afternoon, the dry day, mostly sunny, only 30s out east. So that's a cool day for you. We'll be mid 40s, kind of typical here on the west side. And the warmest temperatures really today, tomorrow, and probably Wednesday as well will be at the coast with this pattern, where each day a lot of you at the beach should expect to hit 50, and there might even be some mid 50s as we go into Wednesday. Here's the 7-day. We're all dry through Wednesday. We're still dry Wednesday evening for New Year's Eve. You wake up Thursday morning. I think there will be some rain in the area. That rain increases into a rainy New Year's Day afternoon, a rainy Friday, and then more of a showery pattern this upcoming weekend. And that is your forecast.
Hey, Rod. Still to come on Sunrise, hectic holiday travel, how weather across the nation is causing delays at airports, and what you can expect over at PDX. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
In response to the colder temperatures, several local governments have opened warming shelters, including the Council for the Homeless in Clark County. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live at Living Hope Church in Vancouver with the details.
Hey, good morning, China. And yeah, right behind us, Living Hope Church was open last night as a warming shelter, overnight tonight that is, and it's going to be open tonight as well as a place for people to go to get out of the cold. And I got to be honest with you, it is a bit colder up here in Vancouver. There's also going to be a daytime warming center at St. Paul's Lutheran Church that runs from today through Wednesday. Overnight shelters were also open last night in the city of Vancouver, Longview, and Clackamas County. Now, of course, one that people are keeping a close eye, us included, is Multnomah County. Right now, warming shelters are not open, though we are watching to see if that does change. Right now, thresholds have not been met for Multnomah County to open those shelters. Of course, we'll be keeping a close eye on that, as well as shelters all across our area to see if they do open more of them in the Portland metro area over the next couple of days. Jenna?
Thomas, thank you. Meantime, a new round of storms have caused delays and cancellations from the Midwest to the Northeast. This comes as millions of Americans travel post-holidays. Amy Kiley takes a look at the latest travel impact.
This is kind of the last hurrah for folks that haven't left already to return home.
Many post-holiday travelers face weather delays and dangers today. Storms spawning along a cold front are affecting tens of millions of people. Much of the Northeast is dealing with severe snow and ice storms.
The ice is our main concern. I know temps are supposed to warm up. Ground temps are still cold.
In the Midwest today, forecasters warn blizzards are the concern. They say snow could meet winds up to 60 miles per hour in some areas. The FAA says Chicago O'Hare Airport had a ground stop yesterday. Oh, shoot! Utilities report more than 100,000 recent power outages in the region. In Iowa,
14 vehicle crash just ahead of my vehicle that's being cleaned up now. Zero visibility.
Some communities, like this one in Illinois, are recovering from tornado damage. Meanwhile, FlightAware reports about 10,000 U.S. flight delays and 800 cancellations yesterday. That follows another rough day for some passengers Saturday.
I just want to make it home to my own bed tonight.
Going with the flow, wherever the wind takes me.
In places across the country, the upside of the winter weather is the joy it's bringing children on holiday breaks.
We're trying to find a good area to do a snowball fight.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
All right, checking in with conditions at PDX. FlightAware showing 20 delays and 0 cancellations so far. And we stopped by the airport yesterday to talk to some travelers about their experience.
A bit congested. We had to change gates last minute, so that was a bit odd. And a bit rushed.
Christmas Eve was wild. It was really, really busy, like super busy, and it was windy, but today was nice and smooth.
The AAA says this year's travel volume is up 2.2% over 2024, surpassing last year's record of just under 120 million travelers. All right, let's bring in Rod Hill. You got the paper out, you mean business.
I was just checking, the sunrise sunset time. So obviously we had the solstice, and it's now well into winter. The sun now comes up at 7:51. That's the latest in the morning point. So later this week, it will start coming up a little bit earlier.
Oh, nice.
So there's that. And at nighttime now, 7:35, we've already picked up almost 10 minutes of extra daylight.
Love that.
From when it was around 4:27. Yeah. All right, here's an early morning shot. Speaking of sunrise, not up yet. Of course, 7:51 is the time this morning, but you can see the brightness looking off to the east from one of our Timberline cameras. Nobody up in the day lot yet. That's the parking lot right there, but that should fill up nicely today. 28 degrees is the temperature. No new snow yesterday, no new snow today. The next chance of any moisture is on Thursday, and unfortunately that first round could be kind of a wet mix at Timberline with snow levels expected to be at 6,000 feet. So we have the bases that we have, and at least we're up over 2 feet at Timberline and up over 2 feet at Meadows. Skibo's 15, Bachelor is 23. And the resorts, little by little have been adding some extra chairs as they kind of maneuver snow around and do the best they can with the limited snow that's on the ground. If you are traveling early this morning, that's kind of slick. It looks like on Highway 26 up at Government Camp, old snow and ice still on the highway. It's 32 degrees, but this location will be up into the 40s today. So all of the passes will see just clean pavement as the day progresses and the sun gets up. We do have weather systems out to sea, but they're going to hold that way. Again, I don't have any rain coming in until Thursday morning at this point on New Year's Day. Cloudiness spilling off of these clouds through our area, but generally the cloudiness is broken and we're looking for a dry, partly cloudy day. We are watching east winds out of the gorge. So far, the only gusty spots reported are in close proximity. There's Tratos Airport, east gust to 30, and that's expected to continue today and into tomorrow. Futurecast wind does show that. Here we are, 1 o'clock this afternoon. And notice this does produce a ribbon of east winds, and this is kind of typical. So here's Yamhill County. And often in east winds, as you folks know, McMinnville, you pick up some of that wind. It doesn't show much at the beach, but again, it kind of depends on where you are. If you typically get an east wind, you'll probably notice it somewhat today and tomorrow. If you live in a spot where you don't get the east wind, your winds will just be flat and calm today. Beautiful shot early this morning for Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. That's kind of a baby blue sky up top from some thin cloud cover. 37 degrees. You will be up into the 50s today. How about that? Here you can see mostly cloudy skies over the state capitol, but good visibility in Salem, 35 degrees. And there's a pretty shot of partly cloudy skies from the Wells Fargo building looking out toward Mount Hood. 35 is the number. 35 in Salem, freezing in Eugene, 29 out in the Dalles, 18 now out in Burns. Here's your 7-day forecast. We've got mid-40s today and tomorrow. Wednesday, 47 again, all dry, including the strike of midnight. I think when 2026 arrives, it will be dry. Rain comes in Thursday morning, then we've got rain at times Thursday afternoon, Friday, and weekend showers in your forecast.
More negotiations are still needed for a peace plan to end the Russia-Ukraine war. I'm Bofta Imam in Washington with why President Trump is optimistic.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will visit Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Donald Trump. This after President Trump met with the president of Ukraine and spoke with Russia's president. NBC's Bofta Imam has the latest from Washington, D.C.
After a nearly 3-hour meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the two spoke of progress made, but still no peace plan was finalized.
We had a terrific meeting. We discussed a lot of things. As you know, I had an excellent phone call with President Putin that lasted for over 2 hours. We discussed a lot of points, and I do think we're getting a lot closer.
One of the key issues, security guarantees to help deter further attacks, which Zelensky stressed is critical for lasting peace. He called Sunday's meeting productive.
We have great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and U.S.-Ukraine security guarantees, 100% agreed. U.S.-Europe-Ukraine security guarantees, almost agreed. Military dimension, 100% agreed.
As for the ongoing battle over land, that still remains unresolved.
Have you agreed on the so-called free trade zone on Donbass? How to separate the sites? How to make the separation line? Who will be responsible?
The word agreed is too strong. I would say not agreed, but we're getting closer to an agreement on that.
While the president says Russia wants a deal to happen, he made it clear that Russia did not agree to a temporary ceasefire ahead of any peace deal. More bilateral talks and larger meetings are expected in January.
And we agreed that our teams will meet in upcoming weeks to finalize all discussed matters. And we agreed with President Trump that he will host us and maybe in Washington, European leaders and Ukrainian delegation.
President Trump avoided laying out a hard deadline, but indicated they'll know in a few weeks where things stand. In Washington, Bofta Imam, NBC News.
Now to your morning rush. The man suspected of placing pipe bombs near both the Democratic and Republican Party headquarters back in 2021 said he felt the violence was justified because, quote, they were in charge. A new court filing alleges Brian Cole had animosity for both political parties at the time of the incident. Sources familiar with the matter previously reported that Cole confessed to planting the pipe bombs and believed in conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. At least 13 people were killed and 98 others injured after a train derailed in Mexico on Sunday. The Mexican Navy says that the train was carrying 241 passengers and 9 crew members when it crashed in southern Mexico. Mexico's president says at least 5 of those injured are still in critical condition. Officials there are looking into the cause. And at least 1 person is dead and another is facing life-threatening injuries after 2 helicopters crashed in New Jersey. One of the helicopters went up in flames after the crash. The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating. And President Donald Trump is scheduled to meet today at Mar-a-Lago with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. According to a White House official, the 2 leaders are expected to discuss the war in Gaza and Iran. This will be Netanyahu's 6th meeting with Trump this year. The Portland Japanese community is mourning the death of a lifelong resident and local leader. Henry Sakamoto died recently at the age of 98. His impact can be most directly seen at the waterfront, where 100 cherry trees bloom each spring thanks to his efforts. He was also the first president of what is now called the Japanese American Museum of Oregon. His service even earned him a recognition from the government of Japan. Coming up in our next half hour, will paper checks soon be a thing of the past? Why some experts say not so fast, and parts of Highway 2 in Washington finally reopen after weeks of bad weather washed out a section of the road. We'll tell you which parts remain closed and the detour skiers can take to get to Stevens Pass. Don't go anywhere. Sunrise Streaming Live continues in just a few minutes.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We have ourselves a nice morning out there. It is cold here in the valley. We have frosty spots. We have some foggy spots. Look what's up top, though. That's a baby blue sky. We're not to sunrise yet, but really pretty up over the mountain. The winds are generally 5 to 15. Here's one of the foggy spots this morning. This is along the Columbia River, Vancouver, the springs at the waterfront. You should be able to see the interstate bridge about right in here. You can. So that's very, very foggy. Temperature is 32 degrees. Frosty spots reported. Coming into Portland, good visibility along I-5. That's looking at the Moda Center, of course. Temperature is 35 degrees. Our day moving forward, all dry. Generally, we look for partly cloudy skies, 43 at noon. We'll get up into the mid-40s for a high, and then 43 at 5 o'clock. We do have east winds near the gorge, gusting to about 30 miles per hour. But you get away from the gorge, and winds are generally pretty light. 7-day forecast, all dry weather today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, including Wednesday night for New Year's Eve. But Thursday morning rain returns. It's a rainy Thursday afternoon or rainy Friday, weekend showers expected.
Good morning. We start this live 7:30 half hour of sunrise with a beautiful look at the sunrise coming up from our Wells Fargo Skycam. Pretty clear sky today. Going to be pretty dry the next few days. Rod Hill, going to fill you in on what that means.
Yeah, now that's looking off to the east. It's a much brighter, clearer sky than if you were to look to the west. But we are looking for dry weather and partly cloudy skies overall, so a nice Monday. And with yesterday being dry, today dry, tomorrow dry, Wednesday dry, 4 days of dry weather. We haven't had that since the week of November 8th. It's been quite a while. So bad news if you're a skier or boarder because you want it to be snowing just all the time up there at this point. But good news in that river levels will be able to get back down and continue to recede, which we need. You can see some cloudiness. It's generally broken. This will be a partly cloudy day. There's a pretty shot of our Capitol building down in Salem. There's that shot that China just showed you from the Wells Fargo building looking off to the east. Temperature at PDX is 35, 43 at noon. I expect highs today in the mid 40s for a nice Monday overall. Back to you.
Thank you, Rod. In response to colder temperatures, several local governments have opened warming shelters, including the Council for the Homeless in Clark County. So Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live at Living Hope Church in Vancouver with the details. Good morning, Thomas.
Hey, good morning, China. And yeah, Living Hope Church was open last night and it'll be open again tonight as a warming shelter for people bracing for this cold and looking for a place to go. There are also some daytime shelters that are open up here in Clark County as well, including St. Paul's Lutheran Church, which will run open from today through Wednesday. Overnight shelters were also open last night in the city of Vancouver, Longview, and Clackamas County. And even in the past 45 minutes here, it's been pretty brisk and cold up here in Vancouver. Thankfully, it is dry. We're also closely watching what's going to happen in Multnomah County. Right now, the temperature thresholds do not meet what's required to open Multnomah County's warming shelters. That is something that we'll continue to closely monitor, as well as other possible warming shelters opening across the Portland metro area over the next couple of days. China.
Thomas, thank you. Portland police are investigating a shooting that killed one man and injured another. It happened at around 11:45 last night on Southwest Ankeny Street in downtown Portland. Police say they found two victims. One was dead at the scene. The other was taken to the hospital. Investigators have not made any arrests yet, but are asking anyone with information to contact Portland police. Salem police arrested a woman for DUI following a deadly crash. This happened around 1:40 Saturday morning near Market Street and Lancaster Drive. Police say 33-year-old Carly Dolan was more than 3 times the legal blood alcohol limit when she crashed into the back of a tow truck. The passenger in the Dolan's car, 51-year-old Tricia Hopkins, was pronounced dead at the scene. Meantime, in Portland, Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies arrested a man after he allegedly rammed 2 patrol cars while trying to escape a traffic stop. On Christmas morning, deputies spotted a car near Northeast Prescott Drive and 136th Avenue with a stolen license plate. The driver was sleeping, so deputies boxed him in. They say he then woke up and tried to get away, hitting both patrol cars in the process. The suspect then got out and gave himself up to police. Hey, check out this surveillance video showing a car slamming into a Portland smoke shop on Christmas Eve. 4 people were also caught on camera putting tens of thousands of dollars worth of product into trash bins. The people who run House of Pipes on Southeast 41st and Hawthorne tell us that this is the 14th time one of their stores has been hit this year alone. They say in total, burglaries have cost them $200,000 in lost merchandise and store damage.
Insurance companies, they're only going to allow us to make so many claims and such high claims. You know, we can't for the most part. Otherwise, we're going to get kicked out or our rates are going to rise through the roof. So the majority of this is all getting eaten.
No arrests have been made in this case. 3 suspects have been charged in a string of retail thefts at Ulta Beauty stores in Multnomah County, with court records saying tens of thousands of dollars in merchandise was stolen. Jay Coulter has the details.
The first incident happened here at the Gresham location back in mid-July, the first of 19 Ulta thefts across the Portland metro, until the last one on December 15th, which also happened here in Gresham. A months-long crime spree comes to an end for 3 suspects. 29-year-old Ollie Brumfield, 39-year-old Christina Stern, and 41-year-old Marissa Aguilera all arrested last week for what authorities say is a long string of thefts at Ulta beauty stores.
With the help of detectives and our community safety specialists, this team made a great case and was able to identify 3 suspects that did approximately $25,000 worth of theft between July and December.
The team reviewed Ulta's online theft reporting system and security camera footage, as well as loss prevention reports. In each incident, the assigned officer reports that the suspects entered the store, select merchandise, conceal the merchandise, and exit the store, ignoring alarms. The report shows they commonly used bags to hide the goods, but in one case even used a stroller. Officer Jerem Swayze with the Gresham Police Department says these incidents would fall under organized theft.
There's a lot of one-offs where you have people coming in and stealing from stores, and then you do have cases where there's repeated offenders, and they oftentimes hit in the whole region.
The 19 Ulta thefts occurred across 3 stores in the Portland metro, the most at the Gresham location, which was hit at least 10 times. The Cascade Station location and the Jansen Beach location also hit. A total of nearly $27,000 worth of merchandise stolen.
They'll make a job of it, basically going around the whole Portland metro area, hitting all the particular stores.
Brumfield and Stern have each been charged with organized retail theft, theft in the first degree, and aggravated theft in the first degree. Aguilera has been charged with organized retail theft and aggravated theft in the first degree. Swayze adds that Multnomah County's new organized retail theft task force adds another layer of protection to some businesses.
We do retail theft missions where we are proactively waiting for theft to occur. And in those cases, we're in the real-time information center getting ready, prepared with officers in place and ready to take care of and reduce the theft by taking these suspects immediately into custody.
Jake Holter, KGW News.
Advanced practice providers at Legacy Health have rejected a tentative agreement by Legacy. In a statement from the Oregon Nurses Association, they rejected the agreement because of a lack of, quote, meaningful movement at the bargaining table, including wage offers they say puts them behind a PPS at other hospitals. Meantime, Legacy responded saying in part that they are disappointed with the outcome, but are committed to returning to the bargaining table. The strike will continue until both sides agree to a deal. In Washington, many families are still looking for stable housing after the state's initial relief funds ran dry. This after the historic levels of flooding in several counties recently. Haley Simpson says her 1-year-old celebrated his birthday in a hotel room after floodwaters devastated their family home in Skagit County.
It went all the way into the main level of the house, like a foot into the actual house. So right now we've been going and cleaning up and all that stuff, but it's not livable at all.
This also comes at a bad time for communities that rely on tourism. Right now, it's supposed to be peak ski season in Washington, but flooding has restricted access to some towns. All right, your time now is 7:37. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather.
We are so lucky here locally. We had those 2 atmospheric rivers, and while we had some river flooding and some fairly short-lived road closures, we certainly didn't get hit like our friends from that first atmospheric river that went up into Washington. Nice day today, and in fact, this is a dry streak of 4 days. Started yesterday, will go through Wednesday. First dry stretch of any kind, really, going all the way back to one that started on November 8th. So it's been a while that we've dried out day after day after day. It's going to be a partly cloudy day at the coast. That's Lincoln City. Some folks out taking an early morning stroll from our Snookwinds Casino Resort camera, 36 degrees. This shows quite a bit of blue sky once the sun gets up. This is the Dundee Hills and the Camera Domain Serene Winery. So nice morning. I don't see any frost on the grass out there either. That's up in elevation a little bit. Here is the one camera that continues to be really foggy, and this is about as thick of fog as this vantage point ever shows. So the Interstate Bridge is right here. You folks commuting over the river this morning should expect a slowdown due to near zero visibility, at least over this stretch. The temperature is 32 degrees. Here are the other numbers. It's a mixed bag of above freezing and below freezing. 30 in Scappoose and Battleground, but 38 down in Taggart, Sherwood, and Wilsonville. Other numbers include 35 in Salem, and then just near freezing in Almsville and Albany, each at 33. Felix and Oscar from the Famous sitcom, of course, The Odd Couple. You can see the two beautiful cats here. I love the eyes. Pet of the day at kgw.com is the email address. Send us your pet's photo, and they will become our pet of the day. Felix and Oscar this morning. There's the dry weather map this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Only 30s out east, 40 in Bend, mid-40s up and down I-5, and upper 40s till there will be some 50s along the coast for highs today. It's going to be the warmest spot in our state. Here's the 7-day, all dry through Wednesday, including Wednesday night for New Year's Eve. But you wake up New Year's Day, there probably will be some rain moving in. Right now, Thursday afternoon looks very rainy. Friday looks pretty rainy as well. And that's your update.
Thank you, Rod.
I still use a few checks myself. I haven't used a paper check in maybe over 10 years.
People divided after the Fed announces that it will be reviving the future of paper checks. But will checks follow the penny and become a thing of the past? Experts say it's not that simple. Why they think checks should stick around, coming up when Sunrise continues in 2 minutes.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
If you are looking for a good read, Multnomah County Library just released its most borrowed books of 2025. The physical books most checked out this year for adults include James, a novel by Percival Everett, Tilt, a novel by Emma Patty, and The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. For teens, the top 3 include Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, The Blue Line Letters by Stephen Christensen, and Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And for the kiddos, the Thank You book, Pigs Make Me Sneeze, and My New Friend Is So Fun, all by Mo Williams, rounded out the top 3. So if you want to check out the books, including ebooks and audiobooks, you can get a library card on their website. When's the last time you used a paper check to pay for anything? If you can't remember, well, you're not alone. And we talked about the end of a penny, but now paper checks might also be on the chopping block. The Fed says that they're starting to explore winding down their check processing services, but some people have good arguments for why paper checks should stick around, at least for now. Priscilla Thompson has more.
Paper checks, they've been a fact of life for, well, pretty much as long as banking has been a thing.
I'd like to cash this check here, and then I'd like to take you out for a steak dinner.
But whether you're cashing them,
And I'd like to cash it.
or writing them,
$1.09.
in today's digital world, it can seem a little old-fashioned. And now, the paper check could bounce for the final time. after the Federal Reserve announced it's considering overhauling or even winding down its check processing services. In a recent notice, the Fed writing, over time, check use has steadily declined. Digital payment methods have grown in availability and use, and check fraud has risen. They're still asking for input from the public, but whatever they decide to do could have an impact on consumers.
You can easily see the domino effect. Banks outright might stop using checks over the next few years. If it's not happening from the government, then why would it happen in the private sector over time?
So will checks go the way of the penny, which the U.S. Mint stopped making last month?
3, 2, 1.
The Fed isn't alone in taking a hard look at paper checks. In September, the Social Security Administration stopped sending out benefit payments via check, switching instead to direct deposit and payment debit cards. The SSA saying those methods are faster, more efficient, cheaper, and more secure. And a number of big retailers, including Target and Whole Foods, have stopped accepting personal paper checks. It's probably not surprising that Americans are also putting down their checkbooks. A June study by the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta found the share of bills paid by check in 2024 was just 7%, down from 19% just a few years ago. And that over the past 7 years, electronic payments and debit cards have taken over as checks decline. Still, not everyone is in favor of checking checks. One Fed board member writing a dissent to the Fed's notice, saying in part, in 2021, about 11 billion checks were written. Checks remain important payment mechanisms for consumers and businesses. Any transition might be tough for some vulnerable populations, like seniors who struggle adapting to new tech.
That's why you can't eliminate it right away. There's still millions of people that depend on it.
The American Bankers Association telling NBC News the Fed's move is a, quote, positive step forward, but adds it's critical that any transition ensures inclusivity. People we spoke to were divided.
It's sad to see, just like the penny, but I think it's the way of the world.
I still use a few checks myself. I haven't used a paper check in maybe over 10 years.
Not exactly a blank check to do away with paper, but the writing may be on the wall. Priscilla Thompson, NBC News.
I think my generation is the last generation of checks and grew up with checks. Like I remember when I was young, my mom would give me a check to pay for like cheerleading or gymnastics.
Yeah.
But me, myself, I don't own a checkbook. I've never written a check.
Don't have one at all.
Don't have one, no.
Okay. I mean, we were talking during the break. I just ran into, it depends on the website. I still run into some websites where they simply don't have a way to pay it digitally. The Port Authority at Hood River, I ran into this a couple weeks ago from the toll issued on that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And the bill came and it got lost on my desk. So I paid it late. But it didn't have a way to pay it online for a toll that was considered late. So I had no option but to send a check unless I was going to hop in my car and drive to Hood River. So I do run into this occasionally where it's like, so I'm okay with doing this, but everybody's got to get their websites where you can easily, effectively make payments. Because I still run into some that's an issue.
That's crazy.
Now, Michaela, our producer, says never written a check her entire life.
No.
Is that right, Michaela? Never, ever.
Yep.
Never ever, she says. Okay. Here's a look at a pretty sky camera. This is one of our Timberline cameras. Looking off to the east, the sun's coming up. There you see it. Won't be long before the chairlifts are rolling. All of our resorts are now open, at least to some extent. Check websites because you still have limited openings, and that I don't think any of the resorts have all of their chairlifts going yet, but they've been increasing the numbers, so that's good. Again, check websites. Timberline, chilly morning, but not bad. I mean, there's winds are less than 15, and it's 28 degrees up there. Of course, no new snow in the past 24. We all remember it was dry yesterday. There's no new snow coming moisture until Thursday. And right now, the Thursday snow level looks to be 6,000 feet, which isn't favorable, really. But at least Timberline and Meadows now have over 2 feet on the ground as a base. Ski Bowl reports 15, Bachelor reports 23. A reminder, if you're going to be up there early this morning, here's Highway 26 at Government Camp. This is old snow and ice that's been cold enough. The ODOT just hasn't been able to get it scraped off of the road. It's almost, it's 32 right now if you round up. This site will be in the low to mid 40s this afternoon. This is a warm air mass coming. Freezing levels will go up to 8,000 feet today. So later today, this will be perfectly clean pavement, as will all of the Cascade Passes. One of the stories that China's been telling you about is the cold air hitting much of the east. Current numbers, 5 below up in Fargo, 11 in Des Moines, 17 in St. Louis. It's even been freezing down in Dallas, just now above freezing at 34 degrees. There's a front, the leading edge of that cold weather is now right here hitting the East Coast. This isn't exactly what I would call stormy. It's mostly rain until you get up into a wintry mix of freezing rain and snow up into New England. There's some snow showers down in Texas. You don't see that every day. They do get it, but you just don't see it that often. Otherwise, a lot of the country is simply dry today, including here on the west. We're all dry from California up into Oregon and Washington. You can see cloudiness spilling, but it's broken cloudiness, and we'll go on to be partly cloudy. So the only negative in our forecast today, really, in my view, is this. East winds that are gusting to 30 in close proximity coming out of the gorge. That's Troutdale's report, and you folks in East Multnomah County will continue to see the cold, gusty east winds today and potentially into tomorrow as well. Here's the Salem tasting room looking up at Mount Hood. Pretty shot, some broken cloudiness, 38 degrees. A lot of blue there on the right side. This is over the end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center down in Oregon City. So we are seeing, there's no frost on the grass there. I thought there might be, but there's not. Temperatures above freezing, Kelso, Portland, Salem, but there are freezing spots mixed in, and I'll get you your 7-day after I show you the valley forecast. About 45 in Salem, frosty spots around, partly cloudy skies. Again, light winds today away from the gorge. Portland all dry through Wednesday, more cold nights to come. Rain picks up New Year's Day, a rainy Friday, and showers this upcoming weekend, and that is your forecast.
Thank you, Rod.
This coming Monday at 6 a.m., we will begin a limited reopening of a section of State Route 2 from the east.
Within the past hour, parts of Highway 2 have officially reopened in Washington after storms washed away sections of the road. How the road closure is affecting businesses that rely on the ski season to get by. Sunrise continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
No answer 720. Trooper Tara Marissa Guting. End of watch December 19th, 2025. Gone, but not forgotten.
A final roll call for Washington State Patrol Trooper Tara Marissa Gutting. On Saturday, a sea of blue filled the Tacoma Church to honor Trooper Gutting's life and her service. She was killed in the line of duty 10 days ago while responding to a crash. Before fulfilling her lifelong dream in law enforcement, she served 8 years in the Army National Guard. WSP troopers remembered a colleague and friend they say brought light into every room.
In my 30 years, I cannot think of somebody that was more upbeat and with such a good attitude as Tara had. I mean, her attitude was infectious and it just spread like wildfire.
Her why? It was simple but not easy. It was to change the face of law enforcement, turning all the negativity into something positive.
The investigation into the crash that killed her is still ongoing. A stretch of Highway 2 in Washington State has been closed for 2 weeks after a storm washed out sections of the road. But now a partial reopening means skiers and snowboarders will be able to access a popular spot, but it won't be easy. Bridget Chavez explains.
This coming Monday at 6 a.m., we will begin a limited reopening of a section of State Route 2 from the east.
Those words from Governor Bob Ferguson are the news skiers and snowboarders have been waiting weeks to hear.
Hopefully we can get more road open, but yeah, the resort opening is definitely good.
A nearly 50-mile stretch of Highway 2 has been shut down for more than 2 weeks after severe storms and flooding destroyed roads and bridges. Stevens Pass officially opens for the season on Monday, but getting there won't be easy. Drivers must go through Leavenworth, then take Chumstick Highway to reach the partially reopened section of US 2. From there, a pilot car will escort traffic through a single-lane work zone for about 7 to 8 miles. The reopening covers 20 miles between Coles Corner and Stevens Pass and will only run from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day.
US 2 will remain an active construction zone.
For skiers and snowboarders in King and Snohomish counties, that means a 4 to 5 hour drive just to reach Stevens Pass, not including any wait time for the pilot car.
The hardcores might be doing more of that, but yeah, kind of your everyday family folks, I think would just go to Snoqualmie or Baker or something like that.
For the owner of a ski shop in Monroe, the closure has meant empty service benches.
These things are usually pretty full of stuff that we have to do.
And fewer rentals during what's normally a busy time of the year.
It's definitely been a little bit of a hit. Like I said, just rentals have been down, ski service is a little down.
After weeks of closures, all that uncertainty is hard.
You know, they're working really hard to get these roads open, and what else can you do? I mean, good to go.
But Spradlin's not ready to write off the season just yet.
Just need a mountain. Optimistic we can get something rolling and get people up the hill.
Coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with a breakdown of new laws going into effect in the new year that could impact everything from your credit report to your child support. We'll be right back.